Of course, as science ventures into brave new areas, body modification, reproductive technologies, things of that nature, we have to be cautious as well, because there's so much that science can't do. I often tell people, look, science can tell you how to clone a human being. It can't tell you if you should.
Right.
And that's where the scientist himself needs a significant dose of humility, because there's a lot of folks. I mean, you look at China, you look at some of these other nations, and they are just pushing the envelope just to see if they could push the envelope, and it can be scary. I mean, we just came through a crisis where I wonder if I could take this bat virus and modify the viral genome to make it even worse for human beings. Oh, look, that worked. And then we got the COVID variant. So it does. The scientists can't, those that believe that science can lead the way may be in for a definite surprise down the road, and it can lead to some scary conclusions.
Yeah, John, do you want to speak? Because I do feel like there has been a shift, especially since just COVID, away from this idea that science can also be sort of the arbiter of morals and values, the way that maybe there was I read a book, I think a couple of years ago by Hunter and Nedeleski called Science and the Good, where they trace out the Enlightenment failure of trying to ground morality in the scientific project. And I think we say most people do think, I don't know most people, but a lot of people think that, okay, that's a dead project at this point. We can't look to science to give us a sense of morals or values.
Well, I would hope that's the case, because, as already mentioned, science, is a bit like a Pandora's box in that sense, in terms of, it gives us new technologies and new knowledge, but it can't tell us how to use it and what's morally right or wrong to do. You can, with medicine, you can heal or kill. I have heard scientists say, well, if we can do it, we should, and that just gives me the creeps, because, well, if we can do it, we should. Well, then there should be an aisle at Walmart where you can buy your nuclear weapons, right? Because we can do it, we should. Yeah, they'd be a little expensive, but hey, my neighbor is bugging me, so I want to have a little clout. So, I would hope that, as you mentioned, COVID and so on has just sobered people a little bit in terms of, wow, science can be politicized, it can be biased, it's done by humans who have agendas. So just to go out there and start tinkering with things because we can, let's see what happens, can be really bad. Yeah. So who decides that becomes really hard, because I would say what we've done with NIH and NSF is allowed scientists to decide what should be done or what shouldn't be done. So who's going to adjudicate that becomes the issue culturally, I think. And it's going to be humans that do it, so what's their bias is going to be. So, but yeah, definitely, I think, hopefully, from the other side, there's the COVID issue, but then there's just also environmental damage that we do with our polluting technologies and so on. So there's just a number of things where the average person needs to be aware of science enough to engage in some dialogue on this, be aware of issues, and to feel like they can contribute and say, well, wait, why are we doing this? Is this a safe thing for us to be doing? There should be some contribution that the average person can contribute to it, not just bow at the white lab coat and go, oh, whatever you say must be right.